Good evening. It's still light out. April 28th, 2025 edition of the Community Lens. I hope everybody enjoyed those April showers. We're getting ready to bring in May. Lots of things happening in May. The referendum is coming. We are getting ready to enjoy our Memorial Day. Today happens to be Workers' Memorial Day, remembering everybody who's fallen on the job. And we'll be celebrating the Gateway to Summer, Memorial Day, and our veterans. And I saw online that it's going to be Veterans Month, all of May. That's amazing. I hope everybody's had a good time. I'd like now to introduce our guests tonight.
My name is Mark Lilly. I'm here basically as a representative of our voting organization, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the tabulator. I also happen to help administer 2 Facebook pages here in North Branford, some of you may know. Randy Chittenden and I take care of North Branford Community Pride and Straight Outta Northford. So we kind of help each other in that endeavor as well. You want me to go right into
Let's let Hank. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Hank Petrosky. I'm with the North Branford Land Conservation Trust. Our main focus is to protect open space in North Branford for the enjoyment of everyone. So we'll be chatting about some of what the organization does and maybe how you can help.
And I'm going to have Hank start us off tonight, and I'm going to go last with what I want to talk about, just because it will roll better. So tell us everything that's been going on at the Land Trust, because there's a lot of exciting stuff. So
Yes.
Yes.
Well, we were formed in 1968, so we've been around for nearly 60 years. We're all volunteer group. So it's just folks from our community that want to keep open space available so the residents and non-residents can make use, get outdoors, and get some exercise and some fresh air. We manage some 60 properties around town. It's about 335 acres. The properties range anywhere from a half an acre to some around the 25-acre size. So what we do is we need to maintain all those properties. A lot we have trails on, like Village Street property, Notch Hill Brook, Harrison Farm Preserve. So there's trails that we built on all those properties, and they're there for your enjoyment. So please, for you and all your family and loved ones and friends, please get out and walk the trails. That helps 2 things. It helps keep the trails active, and you are our eyes and ears of what's going on. If you see something out there that doesn't look right, please contact and let us know, and we'll try to address it. In recent news, a year ago, or back in the fall actually, we acquired 37 acres of former Regional Water Authority property on Beach Street and Palms Lane. And thank you all for those that helped support. That was a $600,000 purchase. Fortunately, we got a bulk of that from a state grant, but due to the generosity of a lot of North Branford businesses and residents, we were able to pay for the rest of that acquisition. We're currently working on building ADA compliant parking area and trail on that property, which will be the first ADA compliant trail in town, so that everyone will be able to make use of our Beach Street and Palms Lane property for enjoyment. About a year and a half ago, we bought 16 acres of former Boy Scout property called the Angeloni Woodland Preserve. You can get to it through the end of Sarah Road, or you could actually also get to it through Guilford, one of their trails. So again, if you want more information on that, let us know. Other recent projects is right across the street from the studio here at Atwater Library. We built the trail from the parking lot at Atwater, goes up the hill. There's some stone steps that were built, and that takes you all the way up to the Harrison Farm Preserve. So once you're up there, you have 2.5 miles worth of trails that you can use, or you can drive up North Street and park in the parking lot that is at the trailhead there. But we wanted to make the connection at the library, so hopefully the library could make some programs for their patrons and children that go right from Atwater Library. We also recently hosted about 30 other land trust professionals from around the state. We did a lot of work over the last 4 or 5 years cleaning all the invasive plants from Harrison Farm Preserve. And we shared our secrets, what we did to get rid of all those invasives with the other land trusts, so they were very thankful for that. What else we do during the year? We lead several hikes. We host educational events for the community. We work with the schools, try to teach them about the outdoors. In fact, our next hike is Saturday, June 7th. At our Angeloni Woodland Preserve, and it's part of Connecticut Trails Day. Land trusts all over the state on June 7th lead hikes. So if you don't want to do the one in North Branford, you could pick any other town in the state and you'll be able to do a hike that day. Our annual meeting is on June 4th. We're meeting at the community room at the police station, and we'll be having a presentation given by Gail Cameron, who's a master wildlife conservationist volunteer for Connecticut Deep, and she'll be talking about bobcats. And as Mark said, with some of our Facebook pages, I'm sure you see the pictures of bobcats in people's backyards all the time. So I'm sure Gail will be able to share some information about what's going on with them. And the last thing I'll mention is on May 7th and 8th is The Great Give. It's run by the Community Foundation in New Haven. It's 2 days where people can get on and donate to some of their favorite local charities. So if you wouldn't mind, on May 7th or 8th, go to thegreatgive.org and pick a charity or two and make a donation. And thank you. And again, if you have any questions, reach out to us on our website, nblandtrust.org, or our Facebook page, North Branford Land Trust, and we'll be happy to get back to you. Thank you.
Has your organization had any honorifics lately, or anybody?
Oh, thank you for asking. Yes, actually we've had two. The president of the Land Trust, David Sargent, recently received an award from the Connecticut Land Conservation Council for outstanding achievement in conservation at their recent annual conference. So kudos to Dave for that. And our Mike Ferrucci, who's on our board, is also a professional forester. He just recently received an award for his outstanding contributions to the forestry environment in Connecticut. So thanks you for reminding me.
Awesome. Mark, what are you here to share tonight?
Okay, well, with the budget vote coming up May 13th, that I'm sure everybody's aware of, from 12 to 8 p.m., we'll be voting at Jerome Harrison, per usual, and at STW, Districts 2 and 3 up there. And everything will be pretty much like every other budget vote and every other regular vote, except for one major thing, and that's that where you place the ballot in what we call a tabulator has now been upgraded. So after 20 years of using the same tabulator in the state has now upgraded all of the tabulators, spent $20 million of the state's money buying new tabulators. There, you've got it on the screen, perfect. And it's very similar. It won't be anything new to learn. The ballot goes into the exact same spot that you put it on the old one. The difference is there's a lot of security enhancements for us and there is a touch screen on it, so it's almost like a laptop in a way. The touch screen is not for your votes, it's for feedback. When you place your ballot into the machine, if you remember, if you've ever voted and had something go wrong, there was a very small screen on the old one that would say something like overvote, which doesn't really give you a lot of information, and it certainly gives you no information as to what to do. The new one with the touchscreen will tell you exactly what it doesn't like about the ballot. An overvote is where you voted for, let's say, both candidates in an election, which you obviously can't do. And then, believe it or not, people put in blank ballots all the time. And so the screen will come up and let you know that that the ballot was actually blank. And then the screen gives you an option of either accepting the ballot as is, which some people can do, or anyone can do, or take it back out of the machine and then fix whatever the issue is. If it's an overvote, you need to get a new ballot, which we have a provision for. If it's blank, obviously just fill in the ballot properly, and then you could resubmit it into the tabulator. Some of the things that people ask about is the tabulator connected on the internet? And it's not. At no point is it connected to the internet for hacking and all of that stuff. It's a totally separate, independent piece of equipment. It also has, in the sensitive areas of the machine, if you will, everything has little locking tabs that have numbers that are registered. So if anybody fiddles with a machine, the numbers won't match. We'll know that immediately, and then an investigation would ensue. Oh, by the way, in the ballot, people oftentimes ask, does it have to go in forward, backward, upward, down? And it doesn't matter. You can put the ballot in any orientation that you like, and the machine will read both sides, figure out the proper orientation, and read it in correctly. So the machine is, the new ones are going to be faster to use, they're going to be easier to use, and they actually take an image of every single ballot that gets placed into the machine. And when the ballots are accepted, they go into the tabulator and then drop down to a secure bin that is then opened up at the end of the poll and put into, again, a secure bag. And that bag is locked with a numbered tag that's documented, and it's traceable. And then we bring it back to town hall where it's locked up in the safe. So it's a good system. And as I say, we've been using the old ones now for almost 20 years. I guess I got them in 2006. So this new unit will, I think, kind of speed things up, make things a little bit easier and a little bit more easy for people to understand exactly what's going on. It also has a battery backup in the unit itself, and we plug it into an uninterruptible power supply. So even if we lose power, we can actually still use the tabulators and continue to count your votes without any interruption. So again, I would urge you to come out on May 13th. You'll see me at Jerome Harrison, among others. And if you're in District 2 or District 3, then you'll be up at STW. They'll be in 2 different rooms. We hope to see you, and we hope there's a big turnout for that. If by chance you would like to volunteer, and on a side note, you actually get paid to volunteer, but if you'd like to volunteer, probably not in time for this election, but for the November elections or what have you, you can do that by contacting the registrars at Town Hall. You could send them an email, registrars at townofnorthbrantfordconnecticut.ct.com, and they can get back to you. Or stop by. Their office hours are Tuesday afternoons at Town Hall. So you could look into what volunteering is about, what you'd be capable of doing. It can be long hours. Our voting 12 to 8 means that I'll probably be there 10 to 9, maybe 10 to 10, depending on how things go. And that's an easy election compared to the nationals. So it's not short hours, but I find it very rewarding. I find it fun in large measure. And I think the people that help us at the polls, I think they find that they feel as though they're contributing in a worthwhile way. So I would encourage you to look into it if you're so inclined.
Thank you so much. I definitely think it's very rewarding and a very important position to manage our voting, because voting is how we maintain our democracy and give our voice most of the time. I do have one question for you, and I've been wondering this. I don't know if you have the answer. I know voting is starting at 12 p.m.
Yes.
to 8 p.m.
Noon, right.
Is there a reason that there's no morning voting this time?
Just that it's only the budget.
Okay.
And there's generally not a lot of people participate. There is absentee ballots. So I mean, if
Oh,
somebody,
there are.
Yeah,
Oh,
if,
okay. Does everybody hear that?
So if somebody can't come, if their only time is in the morning, they could just use an absentee ballot. Contact the town clerk, and she can arrange for an absentee ballot for people, and they could vote that way.
That's awesome. And there's one other thing that Mr. Chittenden reminded me of, is that I think a couple episodes ago we might have mentioned the wrong amount of people that we need to vote to make the referendum. Do you know what it is? 15%?
It's 15%, and I believe that calculates out to about 1,400 people.
Okay.
And that is by the regulations of the town. It was decided that there would have to be a minimum threshold, because they didn't want, the way it happens now is oftentimes 150 or 200 people will come out to vote. And it would be fairly easy for 150 people then to basically run the budget, even though there may be a lot of other people that don't quite feel the same way.
Right.
But that's why it's so important to go out to vote. If you're in favor of the budget, if you're against the budget, either way, your vote is important and helps to make the process work. If nothing else, it's feedback to the town council about the job that they're doing. And I think that's an important thing to do. So.
Awesome. So I'm going to do my little piece before we open it up to some more questions. And that's a good segue, because I don't have a lot of specific things to talk about tonight, but I did want to mention I did go to the April 1st budget panel or public hearing. So we heard from the town manager and we heard from the Board of Education. And what I want to just speak on is what I heard while I was there. When we first started, there wasn't a lot of people that had signed up to come up, but I was so pleasantly surprised and so proud of our town to see one after another people got up and spoke. And I heard a lot. I heard from parents who want their children to be able to come to our town schools and how important it is to look at our budget. I heard that we want to preserve some of the things that we have. We want to preserve some of the land that we have. We're cognizant that in order for us to have the things that we have, that we need to pay for it. I try not to share my opinion on here, but I am somebody who is not averse to taxes, because I find that paying taxes is part of my citizenship and is part of what allows me to have my voice. However, I'm also a human being, and so when my taxes go up, I don't necessarily want to put more of my budgeted money towards taxes, but I will, because that's the part that I am. I am encouraged to see that people are talking and bringing up different ideas. We here in North Branford, I think, have a lot more amenities than some other towns do, because A lot of our surrounding towns do not have trash pickup as part of their taxes. Some of them may have their own transfer stations, and in Wallingford, you have to pay for your trash to be picked up yourself if you want it to be picked up. So,
I think Guilford too.
and Guilford too. So we do have a lot more amenities than other people do. And I guess it's a thing that we need to wrestle with. What are we willing to pay for, and what are we willing to let go to pinch a penny, just like we do in our normal everyday lives? So that kind of leads me to what I want to bring up tonight. I caught fire over the weekend, but I did a lot of research, and I did a lot of questioning, and I did a lot of centering. But I do want to bring it to you, the taxpayers, so you can give it a think. I am going to provide you with some data for you to look at and make your own decisions on. But I want to just make you aware that we don't see when the decisions are made. We know who is making the decisions, but we don't see them being made. We don't see the wrestling and the discussions going on all the time. We don't necessarily see what happens behind closed doors. And so because of all of that, instead of making assumptions, we need to train ourselves to change those assumptions into questions and go and challenge our perceptions. So I have a perception, and I challenged it this weekend. And Mr. Cole, who's a regular on the North Branford page, went down the rabbit hole with me and helped me find some data and make some comparisons. So I don't know if you know this, because I didn't know this until I went down the rabbit hole, but our teachers are in contract negotiations right now with the Board of Education. And I am going to share with you their current contract and salaries, and I'm going to share with you the administrators' contract and salaries. And I want you to take a look at it. The discrepancy between the top paid teacher in the teacher pay scale has 4 levels on it. So if I'm a teacher at the top pay scale, at the top educated level, which means I got a bachelor's degree and then I paid somewhere between $20,000 and $60,000 to get this higher degree, there's an $84,000 difference between the administrators and the top paid teacher. $84,000 right now is the livable wage that somebody can earn as a single person in Connecticut. We pay administrators a salary that equates to 3 full-time teachers. We could be having 3 full-time teachers for the administrator salaries. I'm just giving you the data. I have the data and what I'm going to present to you. I'd like you to take a look at it. I'd like you to look at some of my questions, and I'd like you to email your Board of Education people and give them your opinion. I don't care what your opinion is, but I'd like you to connect with them, because in the last negotiation cycle, I don't think that we knew about it as the electorate. We didn't know about it as the public, and we didn't stand up for the teachers. The teachers are who are there for our kids. They are there with them every day. My son's teachers are amazing, and he wouldn't be where he is right now without them. And they know who they are and how thankful I am for them. So I think as an electorate, if you can send an email, send it to Kim Dawson, send it to Ms. Bannon, send it to Ms. Lanza, send it to all of them. Whoever you want to send it to, send it, let them know your opinion, and stand up for our teachers. And so that's what I wanted to share tonight. So I do have some questions about the land trust, though.
And I'll do my best to answer them.
Okay. So you talked about the properties that you guys manage. Mm-hmm. So my questions are, how are you managing the properties now, and are there opportunities for internships for local college students to use managing some of the trails, maybe collecting data for a thesis that they have? Are there any opportunities to help you guys manage the trails?
Yes, there's always opportunities. We reach out to our local schools, the high school, and even we're working with the intermediate school and both TVS and NBIS. So far, we haven't really had any step up and come forward and say, do you have a project? We do have currently someone at the college level helping us prepare for some grants and stuff. But as far as actually out in the field, thesis type work and stuff, nothing to date. I mean, Choate School in Wallingford, each year when they do their day of service, they've come and volunteered with us, but it's mainly helping build trails and actually up at the Village Street property, built boardwalks because it kind of a little wet up there sometimes
Right, I
come
saw
spring and
that.
stuff.
Okay.
And we've actually worked with the Honeywell company too for their day of service to build some of those boardwalks over the years. So that's kind of it's been group stuff versus any individual. But if anybody in town knows someone or is someone that would like to do as Kara suggested, please reach out to us. We would love to spread our message and get younger people doing it, because a lot of the people are my age that are helping to run the land trust nowadays, and we could certainly use some younger blood and younger ideas.
Yeah, and that could be a huge boost. I'm an environmental science major, and I went to the University of New Haven, and we had to do a internship that was somewhat. I did mine at a health department, but it would be like the perfect opportunity to be responsible for the management of the trail and send a report maybe to your monthly meetings or something. Yeah, and good experience too. So, yes, if you're looking for something like that, definitely reach out to the Land Trust. And I wanted to just ask about the ADA compliance. Are there any trail maps that are available for people who are using the trails? And are we the only ADA compliant trail in the region?
Well, no, we're not. We don't have one yet. We're in the
Okay.
process of building it. We do have trail maps for several of our trails, but none of them are ADA compliant at this point.
Okay.
So if you go up to Harrison Farm Preserve, to the kiosk that's up there, our Village Street property, the entrance is behind the ice rink. There are trail kiosks, they call
Oh,
them.
there's kiosks.
And
Okay.
they either have, actually the town one at North Farms Park has a trail map that's actually etched into a piece of wood and stuff there that shows you all the trails that are there. So eventually when the trails are done at our Beach Street and Palms Lane properties, there will be trail maps there and stuff. There's also, with SCROG, the South Central Regional Council of Governments that we're part of in this region, they publish trail maps, and several of our trails are on there. So if you go to the SCROG website, and I don't know what the link is, but our website also has the nblandtrust.org. If you go there and click on the trails, we have some of the trail maps loaded there too. And then there's other like All Terrain. There's some apps, trail apps that are nationwide. If you go on there, you can find some of our trails too.
Oh, that's good to know. We had an incident, a friend of mine and the boys, we got lost in the woods on a trail in Meriden. So now we're all a little hesitant when we go to the woods if we get lost again. Okay, thank you very much. Is there anything else that's really important that we should ask about the referendum, other than go vote, and it doesn't matter how you vote, we just want you to come out and vote?
I don't know, absentee ballots, as I say, even if you don't have time that day, you can still vote. and it will still be counted. It's a good chance to see the brand-new tabulator in action.
That's true. I do have one thought is I know that a few people have said to me in passing, like, oh, I know we should all go out and vote. It doesn't matter what we vote. But isn't it true that it's only like $1 difference if we get everybody to come out and vote?
Well, colloquially, people always say $1. If the budget referendum fails to pass because it's too high, let's say, it goes back to the town council, and my understanding, I'm not an expert, but my understanding is the town council then is obligated to relook at the budget and to make changes.
Do they have to have a public meeting, a public hearing when they're doing those changes, or can they just?
I don't believe so, but again, I'm
Okay.
not an expert on it. But theoretically, based on the rules, they could change it by $1, and there is no second referendum. Once the referendum happens, that's the feedback that goes back to the town council that they have to change it. Sometimes I guess it could go up because it could be too low. That's one of the choices. Or if the budget is too high, then they'd have to lower it. So they could change it $1 and then let it pass. But, and I think it's very important to realize, if they did that, let's take the scenario. If the town people really came out to vote, really said the budget is too high, it's unacceptable, 1,500 people, 2,000 people came out to vote, and the town council did that, it's unlikely that come November, they would be re-voted in.
Right.
So there's a certain responsibility they have to be realistic. The other thing, and this is kind of an aside from my perspective, one of the other constraints, and I saw them struggle as they tried to cut, and should they have cut more or less or whatever, but a lot of the things that we're paying for now were decided years ago.
Right.
So the time for in some respects, the time for people to say, gee, I really don't want my taxes to go up, maybe should have been when we were building the new high school. Maybe we delay that a couple of years or whatever, because it's going to fall at the same time as reevaluation, which, or when we're looking at areas of the town to turn into business zones, and there's a uproar about it, like there was recently. Well, if we could get more business in, that would help to mitigate tax increases. So
Yes.
unfortunately, all of our focus and effort is on the budget and making the numbers work right now. But there are lots of decisions that are made throughout the years that culminate in the budget being what it is.
And I think your wonderful pages and this show is what I'm trying to show, is here and now is where we have the impact. So here and now is going to be May 13th coming out and voting for the budget. So if you don't like it, like the past is the past, we can't do anything.
True.
But now we can understand, if we don't pay attention and we just let it go by, I hate to keep the dead horse, but the chickens can go away, or we build large buildings that are very expensive, but it looks like, reading the other towns' comments the other day, that we actually made out because our material costs were low for the buildings because we
Right.
built them when we did, because if we had waited, forget about it, we probably wouldn't have been able to do it.
The reevaluation has thrown a monkey wrench into, and the COVID and the escalation of, the really super escalation of house prices.
Yes.
Although I'm sure everybody would love those house prices if they go to sell. But,
But I think most families, the problem is if they go to sell, they can't buy anything else
Exactly.
Well,
because the
that-
competition is so high. Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah. So.
But, the thing is, on May 13th, definitely get involved, but make a promise to yourself that the next time a question comes up, at the town council about buying this, buying that, or skipping maintenance, or, pushing it further. The fire truck was supposed to be purchased after 20 years, and they pushed it off for 10 years.
Yeah.
So it's 30 years old.
Yeah.
It had to happen sooner or later. They decided not to push it off one more year.
Right. Right.
Is that right, wrong? You could make a case either way, but they probably shouldn't have pushed it off, 10 years ago.
Right.
But
That's true. Well, we try not to spend money, which goes to the maintenance,
Yeah.
right? Because maintenance
Right.
costs money, but at the end, it costs us a whole new building.
exactly.
Which I want to leave everybody with, a challenge. I challenge you on May 12th to reach out to one person to remind them to come vote. If all of us reach out to one person to remind them to come vote, we can get what we need for the referendum, whichever way you go. And please, look at my data. There'll be a QR code that's going to be coming up, and the whole slideshow will play. Take a look at it. If you're on YouTube, you can stop it and look at something. If you have the QR code, you could go to it and go through it at your leisure. Please look at the data, form an opinion, whatever that is, and please reach out to the Board of Ed in support of our teachers. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I can't wait to see you at the end of May. Have a great Veterans Month.
Hi, my name is Megan, and I'm the owner of Get Organized with Megan Rose. I specialize in helping people create organized, stress-free homes through my services, which include decluttering and organizing, donation pickups, and daily chores such as laundry, dishes, and tidying up. I understand that inviting someone into your home can feel overwhelming, and many people feel hesitant or embarrassed. But I want you to know my services are 100% judgment-free. I'm here to help, not judge. In addition to my organizing work, I'm also the administrator for our town's free page, where I donate many of my clients' unwanted items to help others in the community. Giving back has been an important part of my business since the very beginning. I've lived in North Branford for 11 years with my boys, and I truly love being part of this community. Right now, I'm running a giveaway for 1 free hour of my decluttering service. Everyone who enters from town will receive $15 off their next session. Be sure to check out my Facebook page, Get Organized with Megan Rose, to learn more about my services. I hope to hear from you soon.